Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 18th Annual Cyber Mission National Awards Ceremony. Welcome friends, families, distinguished guests, and most importantly, the stars of today's event, the 2020 Cyber Mission National Finalist Teams and STEM in Action Grant winners. First, let me speak to the students here in the room, the virtual room. No matter what the outcome of today's awards ceremony, I encourage you to not lose sight of the significance of what each of you have achieved in making it here today. To put your accomplishments into perspective, we started with 14,245 students and 2,923 teams. After a competitive round of virtual judging, 59 teams were invited to compete at regionals. Now today, 24 teams are here at our virtual national judging and educational event. You should be very proud of your accomplishments. I know your families are proud of you, and on behalf of the U.S. Army Educational Outreach Program, congratulations for your great success. To our U.S. Army leaders, scientists, and engineers, I sincerely thank you for your support, not just in being here today, but throughout the competition year. 976 members of the U.S. Army volunteered as ambassadors, cyber guides, virtual judges, regional judges, and national judges. Volunteers worked with teams since September. Here's a little insight into the judging aspect of Cyber Mission. As Army volunteers, you generated 2,342 mission folder scores and comments in just 19 days. Thank you to all of our Army volunteers for their hard work this year. Students, how about we give them the first of the silent rounds of applause that we'll be doing here. So a silent round of applause for our volunteers. Go ahead, students. Show that you can kind of hear mine a little bit in the mic. There you go. Yeah. And listen, whenever I do that, wherever you are, your mics are muted, you're watching the live stream, just make as much noise as possible so that you can really, create that moment. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'm honored to introduce you to Major General John A. George, Commanding General of the U.S. Army Combat Capabilities Development Command, CCDC.
Good afternoon. I'm Major General John George, Commanding General of the U.S. Army Combat Capabilities Development Command, or CCDC. As the official host of the Cyber Mission National Judging and Educational event, and on behalf of the entire Army, welcome to the 2020 Cyber Mission Awards Ceremony. Congratulations to all of you on a job well done. Even though you were not able to enjoy the experience in person this year, I hope you still found the events engaging, thought-provoking, and beneficial to you as young researchers. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge and thank our partners in the National Science Teaching Association and the volunteers from CCDC, our centers, and the Army Research Laboratory, the U.S. Army Engineering Research Center, the U.S. Army Test and Evaluation Command, and NASA, for helping bring forth a great experience and opportunity for all involved. You ensured the success of this competition, even in the midst of a nationwide pandemic. Your hard work speaks volumes about your dedication to these students. STEM is essential to America's economy and quality of life. It's incumbent upon all of us to grow the nation's next generation of innovators so that we can solve our nation's most complex problems, today and in the future. The disciplines of STEM prepare you, our youth, to bring their knowledge and skills to solve real-world problems, decipher information, and know how to gather and evaluate evidence to make decisions. This is what Army scientists and engineers do every day. They work together to solve problems and find solutions that provide our soldiers the best technologies and capabilities that are unmatched across the globe. This is one of the main reasons that we hold the Cyber Mission competition, to encourage students to pursue a STEM education and to expose you to many different types of careers that exist. This is the 18th year of Cyber Mission competition. Thousands of students like you and your teachers have been right where you are today. But don't stop here. Take what you've learned over the past week and keep going. As you continue with your STEM education through high school, college, and beyond, I hope you'll consider a career working for the Army as a civilian scientist, engineer, or perhaps as a part of our industry and academic partners. Let's take CCDC for example. There are 8 centers, each focused on specific science, technology, engineering, and analysis areas. There isn't a thing that soldiers wear, drive, flies, shoots, or eats that hasn't been imagined, developed, tested, or evaluated by our expert teams. For example, The CCDC Chemical Biological Center, located in Edgewood, Maryland, develops technologies such as protective masks and respiratory systems, biological agent detectors and warning devices, and decontamination systems to protect both soldiers and civilians here at home. CCDC Soldier Center in Natick, Massachusetts, approaches solving problems by leveraging the philosophy of a soldier as a system, providing a wide range of technologies and research from the food they eat to clothing, precision airdrop systems, and ballistic, chemical, and laser protection systems. And the CCDC Aviation and Missile Center in Huntsville, Alabama, conducts research, exploratory and advanced development for aviation and missile systems, and unmanned aerial and ground vehicle platforms. Oftentimes, our science and technology work extends beyond the Army to national support and preparedness. During the coronavirus pandemic, our Army scientists and engineers have been working nonstop to develop treatments, solutions to help first responders, and aid in the research of antibody development. Things like thermal imaging for fever screenings, replaceable N95 mask filters, an individual biocontainment unit, dry powder disinfectant, and using 3D imaging to create face masks are just a small sample of the work our scientists and engineers have done in response to the pandemic. The world of science, technology, engineering, and math offers endless opportunities to make life better and the world safer for all of us. I am thrilled to see so many future researchers, engineers, scientists, and mathematicians participating in the eCyber mission competition. I encourage you to take advantage of other experiences and opportunities available through the Army Educational Outreach Program. Congratulations once more, and I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you, General George. You know, it's obvious how much the Army cares about STEM education. That's why AEOP exists, and that's why eCyber Mission exists. So we're really excited that all of you are able to take part in this and participate in this. We're even more excited that all of you that are watching this today are supporting those students who are engaging in STEM. This is a super important thing for our entire society, and it's a super important thing for all of our students. Next up, I'd like to introduce our keynote for this afternoon. That's Major Allison Granger.
I'm Major Allison Granger, and I am a neuroscientist for the United States Army. I've been a neuroscientist for about 15 years, and I have had a very storied career. I actually started out as a college professor and a research scientist at a historically black medical school in Atlanta, Georgia, the Morehouse School of Medicine and Morehouse College, which is where Martin Luther King Jr. received his education. After I spent about 5 or 6 years there, I then started working for the Army as a neuroscientist, and it has been nothing short of a dream come true. Science has always been my first love, and one of the things that has been really cool being a scientist is I've literally have gotten to travel the world presenting my data and collecting data. So actually some of the cooler places I've been that I never thought science could provide me with was a trip to Paris. So when I was in graduate school, I had the opportunity to present my data and to do research in the heart of Paris, France, which is more or less where biomedical research started. I've also done ecology work in the jungles of Costa Rica. So in some of the most remote places in the world where only about 100 people in humanity have ever stepped foot in order to conduct conservation research. I've also done research down in the southernmost part of the world in Antarctica. We did a study there where we were looking at sleep rhythms in people who were just stationed at one of the most southernmost regions in the entire world. So I say all this because it goes to show that anything is possible in life through a science education, And through science, you can have all these amazing, not just career opportunities, but personal opportunities as well. So many of you are probably wondering, well, what sparked my interest and my love for science? So I grew up in a small town. It's called Youngstown, Ohio. It's right outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and not too far from Cleveland, Ohio. It's a really blue-collar city that prides itself on the automotive industry. And so that being said, I was actually a first-generation college student, but I knew early on that I wanted to be a scientist for many reasons. So first off, I would say I spent a majority of my time growing up outdoors. I was playing sports a ton, and then we also had this park right behind my parents' house, and so my neighborhood friends and I, we would go out, explore the creek and the animals and the fish and every aquatic life we could find in this creek. But also in the summers, we would actually go visit my mom's side of the family. And one of my great uncles was responsible for the Apollo space missions. So he, much like myself, grew up in Youngstown, Ohio. He joined the Navy, and then after the Navy, he went to MIT, became an aerospace engineer, and he spent a lot of his career working for NASA and on NASA-related projects. You know, I've always had a lifelong interest in science, and I knew when I was going to college that I really was going to be a science major. I didn't know what at first. I think like most kids, I thought I would be a doctor. Because that seemed like what you would do with a science background. But when I got to college, I started to realize that there are so many career opportunities available through science. So I went to Brown University. Brown University is in Providence, Rhode Island, and it is one of the Ivy Leagues. And what's really unique about the Ivy Leagues is they were actually some of the first schools to ever have a neuroscience program. So neuroscience, which is the study of the brain, is really strong at Brown University. And I started to discover that a lot of my courses in psychology, biology, chemistry would start to integrate pieces of neuroscience. So needless to say, I developed an early love and interest for neuroscience, and it's also through sports as well. So, you know, I've been an athlete my entire life. I won state in high school in the women's pole vault. I was recruited to Brown University as a varsity track and field athlete. And so there's always that mental side of performance in sport as well. And so that's something that really attracted me in the beginning to neuroscience. As I continued throughout college, I had the opportunity, because of the strength of the program, to do neuroscience research. And it was really then where I sort of set out on working for trailblazers. So that's one unique thing about my science career, is that I've always had the opportunity to work with people who have been the first of their kind in their particular field. So when I was at Brown, I had the opportunity to work with this amazing woman. Her name is Dr. Mary Carskadden, and she literally is the godmother of sleep medicine. So she was the very first female to ever do sleep research, and actually her research has changed public policy. So a lot of states today have these mandates where they have later school start times, because it was discovered a few years ago through Mary's research that teenagers, when they go through puberty, they actually have this tendency to wake up later, and it's controlled by our actual biology. And so it was really cool to not only work with somebody who was a trailblazer in the field of neuroscience and sleep medicine, but also who was doing research that had such a huge impact on society. Also in college, I maintained a close relationship with one of my gymnastic teacher's husband. So he was a professor of economics back where I grew up at Youngstown State University. And I think one of the best pieces of advice that he has ever given me, and it's really been the reason for my own success, is to plan your career around your lifestyle and not your lifestyle around your career. Because if you're doing that, your science is not only going to be impactful and meaningful to society, but it's going to be impactful and meaningful to you. And every day at work will not feel like work, it will feel like a vacation. So taking this advice of planning my career around my lifestyle, when I was looking to get a PhD, because I knew I wanted to be a scientist, and in order to be an expert in your field, you have to get an MD or you have to get a PhD. I started looking into graduate programs where, one, I could work with a trailblazer, so somebody who was the world's expert in whatever they did, and two, my research interests and life passions. So for me, it was exercise, it was the importance of recovery so that I could be the best athlete possible, and then some of the underlying biology related to that. Again, I had a keen interest in the brain, and one of the neurochemicals of exercise and why humans crave exercise and athletes crave training is the neurochemical serotonin. So keeping these three themes in mind, exercise, recovery, and serotonin, I was able to find essentially the world's expert in this research area at Kent State University, back close to where I grew up in Kent, Ohio. And so I basically spent 5 years there sort of looking at the underlying biology, specifically at the level of genes and proteins, in terms of what drives and what creates these cycles of when animals are active and when animals are sleeping, and then also looking at how serotonin had the ability to alter these responses. We also did drug addiction research as well, because at the time that was a really top priority in public health. And so we also looked at the negative impact of drugs of abuse, such as alcohol, on the ability of animals to recover, but also on their actual patterns of activities to see if that can lend any evidence as to why addiction starts out in the first place. So I joined the Army because I viewed it as a second calling. So I was a junior when 9/11 happened, and I was actually being recruited at the time by West Point. It was my top choice, but my parents didn't want me to go because we went to war at that time. So I thought that was my one and only opportunity to serve. However, 15 years later, when I was done getting my PhD in neuroscience and doing all my neuroscience fellowships, I was an Army civilian at the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research, and I had this amazing team of mentors who showed me that it was possible to still be an Army officer and to serve amongst our men and women in Army medicine. And it's been nothing short of a dream come true, and I truly mean that. I've gotten to work on extremely high-level projects, not just across the Army, but across the military and for our friendly nations. And I think what's amazing about being a scientist in the United States Army is building this team of teams. So you're basically surrounding yourself with a team of experts in every single area of science in order to solve a particular problem and to deliver a evidence-based scientific solution to help our men and women on the front lines. And to me, I think that is the epitome of selfless service.
I wanted to congratulate each and every one of you on this year's submission to the Cyber Mission competition. And as you know, us as scientists and engineers, we really need to stick together to help solve the world's problems and to provide a way ahead for the future. And I encourage each and every one of you to stay connected with your teachers this summer, your mentors and members of your community, and look for any amazing STEM opportunity available through the Army Educational Outreach Program. Any amazing STEM opportunity through the Army Educational Outreach.
Thank you, Major Brager. Now, the bios for our speakers can be found in the yearbook that's going to be mailed to you in July. If you didn't know that was coming, it is. So keep an eye out. Now, the success of the e-cyber mission competition and all of our U.S. Army educational outreach programs depends on the support of our strategic partners and our volunteers within the U.S. Army science and technology community. E-cyber mission volunteers are the core of our program. Ambassadors work within their community throughout the year to promote the program and provide resources for parents, teachers, and schools. Cyber guides spend many volunteer hours between September and February participating in 12 live cyber guide chats, answering questions and mentoring students via the eCyber Mission website. And as you heard before, in just 19 days in March, virtual judges from the Army provided 2,342 scores and comments to student submissions that we call mission folders. I'm extremely impressed with how engaged these scientists and engineers are with our students. It demonstrates the Army's commitment to technology, innovation, research, and the investment in the future. We'd like to publicly recognize the organizations and individuals who have provided outstanding support to eCyber Mission this year. Today's awards for volunteer contribution are given based on the total effort by the personnel of a U.S. Army organization. So congratulations to each of you. The first place Volunteer Contribution Award is presented to the U.S. Army Combat Capabilities Development Command C5 ISR Center. 55 employees of the CCDC C5 ISR Center committed their time, effort, and expertise serving as virtual judges, scoring 524 mission folders. The second place Volunteer Contribution Award is presented to the U.S. Army Combat Capabilities Development Command Army Research Lab. 80 employees of the U.S. CCDC Army Research Lab committed their time, effort, and expertise serving as ambassadors, cyber guides, and virtual judges, scoring 380 mission folders. And the third place Volunteer Contribution Award is presented to the U.S. Army Test and Evaluation Command. 10 employees of the U.S. Army Test and Evaluation Command committed their time, effort, and knowledge serving as cyber guides and virtual judges, scoring 34 mission folders. Now, we would also like to recognize the United States Military Academy for their contribution to eCyber Mission this year. 601 employees and cadets of the United States Military Academy committed their time and effort to serve as virtual judges and student virtual judges, evaluating 976 mission folders for the eCyber Mission program. It is their unique contribution and perspective that ensures programs such as eCyber Mission succeed and continue to help develop the future leaders of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Next, we'd like to recognize some of the individual volunteers who make eCyber Mission possible. The Team Advisor of the Year Award is being presented to Kathy Biernat. Kathy Biernat has been bringing eCyber Mission into her classroom and providing guidance to her students with their mission folder projects year after year. She's a dedicated TA who contributes every year with multiple teams, often more than 5 per year. Her constructive feedback regarding eCyber Mission must also be noted. And she's participated in the Next Generation STEM Teaching Project twice, once as a participant and then once as a mentor. The Cyber Guide of the Year Award is being presented to STG1 Ashley Hurick. Petty Officer Hurick mentored 8 teams on eCyber Mission Team Talk throughout the 2019-2020 competition year. She further demonstrated her enthusiasm for STEM and eCyber Mission, supporting students by hosting several Cyber Guide Live chats. The Cyber Guide Live chats are a bi-monthly event to help provide online help. Teams, team advisors, and cyber guides come together to learn more about the eCyber Mission mission folder components and generate an open discussion about their projects, troubleshoot hangups, and pick the minds of cyber guides for new ideas and directions. She's an avid supporter of eCyber Mission, a dependable volunteer, and is passionate about STEM. Next, the Ambassador of the Year Award is being presented to Crystal Bishop. Crystal Bishop promoted eCyber Mission in her community and used her position, to network at West Virginia State University. Ms. Bishop is a new ambassador and came into her role with great enthusiasm for our program. Crystal promoted eCyber Mission by speaking at over 9 trainings and development activities and sending over 156 emails. Her notes on the ambassador log were thorough and her outreach efforts were tremendous. And the Virtual Judge of the Year award is being presented to William Luke. Mr. William Luke, a retired educator from Central Texas College, reviewed and scored 205 mission folders all by himself. His support of eCyber Mission is exemplary, and his enthusiasm for STEM could be read in the comments he provided to teams. The Student Virtual Judge of the Year award is presented to William Leary. Cadet William Leary, U.S. Military Academy West Point, reviewed and scored 4 times the requested amount of mission folders. In total, he evaluated and provided meaningful and insightful comments to 20 different teams. His enthusiasm for eCyber Mission is apparent in the thoughtful and detailed comments he provided to the teams. So congratulations to all of our volunteers. Thank you so much for your hard work and commitment to eCyber Mission. Now, I'd like to introduce the Interim Executive Director of the National Science Teaching Association, Moira Fahey-Baker, to speak on behalf of NSTA and discuss the 2020 People's Choice Award. Welcome, Moira.
Thank you, Matt. I am thrilled to recognize and celebrate with all of you the 2020 eCyber Mission National Finalist teams and STEM and Action Grant winners. What an exciting week it's been for all of you. The opportunity to participate in a number of virtual activities and team building exercises, and of course, the presentation of your projects to national judging. Congratulations on all your hard work. You certainly deserve all the praise and accolades. To the team advisors and the parents, thank you. Thank you for encouraging and supporting and guiding these students through the entire process. Volunteers, thank you for all the extra time you lent to the program, from judging, providing STEM support and guidance, or serving as an ambassador in your community. We appreciate all that you have done to make this program a success. Programs like eCyber Mission play an important role in bolstering student learning and involvement in STEM. We could not achieve this goal without dedicated partners like the United States Army. I am proud of our partnership with the U.S. Army and our continued success in making eCyber Mission a meaningful program for students. Lastly, on behalf of NSTA, it's my pleasure to donate iPads for this year's People's Choice Award-winning team. The winning team was decided by the friends, families, students, and teachers who watched the live stream of the National Showcase this morning and voted for their favorite project. Each winning team will receive an iPad. Congratulations again to this year's winning team and to all of this year's national finalist teams. We're so proud of you. Congratulations.
Isn't this a neat virtual world we live in where I can pretend to talk to people who aren't there? It's a lot of fun. Well, everybody, the People's Choice Award this year, we had 10,316 votes. That's a lot of votes. And the winning team received 1,168 of those votes. So I know a bunch of you out there are figuring out percentages right now. As the anticipation grows, the virtual drum roll goes, and the team that will be receiving the 4 iPads is WSMS Gladiators 1. Congratulations to our People's Choice Award winners, WSMS Gladiators 1. Well done. Well done. Well, everyone, at this time, we'd like to begin presenting the 2020 eCyber Mission National Finalist Awards. Now, we're going to start by recognizing each of our 2020 eCyber Mission National finalists. Each student on a national finalist team will receive a national finalist medal mailed to them with a $2,000 U.S. savings bond, bringing their total award to $4,000. So today we're going to begin with our 6th grade national finalists from the North Central region. They are S Cubed from Lake Linden Hubble High School in Lake Linden, Michigan, led by team advisor Gretchen Hine, and made up of students Megan Sutherland, Samantha Black, and Isaac Johnson. The Super Superior Scientist, or S Cubed, integrated a food waste reuse program throughout the K-12 classes at their school. S Cube monitored the garbage generated from lunch for 3 weeks, then repeated the monitoring after sharing information about separating food waste. They saw a 50% reduction in the mass of garbage and the reduction of at least one dumpster of garbage when comparing the pre and post data. The food waste was given to a local farmer who used it as feed for his pigs. Now, from the Northeast region, we have JANS from Stone Hill Middle School in Ashburn, Virginia, led by team advisor Heather Jackson, and comprised of students Jimmy Doe, Siddha Bombardikar, Niraj Dandamudi, and Anish Joshua. JANS created an innovative, easy, cheap, portable, and eco-friendly water filter to combat the water pollution crisis in the world. They incorporated different items in their stackable, canister-based filter that would help clean water, such as cilantro, which let water through and absorbed heavy metals, and charcoal to filter out dirt and bacteria. The stackable canisters snap together and can be removed to incorporate other materials for filtration. From the South Central region, Carbon Keepers, a community-led team through Science Rocks U from Lubbock, Texas, led by team advisor Laura Wilbanks, and made up of students Felipe DeFarias, Briley Siemens, and Eliza Cole-Smith. The Carbon Keepers discovered an urgent action against climate change to prepare us for a better world for 2030. During their research, they discovered that soil carbon sequestration is a process in which CO2 is removed from the atmosphere and stored in soil as organic matter. Working with local and federal community partners and university mentors, different soil treatments were measured for carbon sequestration in response to drought, salinity, acidity, wildfire, and fertilizer. Further research led to the use of soil treatments such as manure, mycorrhizae fungi, and compost to hold carbon. Grass was planted in soils from 5 regions, adding 4 concentrations of the treatments for over 200 samples and 5 repetitions. After 4 weeks, the plants and roots were analyzed. Carbon organic matter in the soil greatly increased with the use of mycorrhizae as an additive. From the Southeast region, WSMS Gladiators 1 from White Station Middle School in Memphis, Tennessee, led by team advisor Chaka Carter, and made up of students Neha Kadali, Emma Way, Aditi Arun Prakash, and Kelly Chu. WSMS Gladiators 1 aimed to produce a buffer solution to acid rain that would allow plants to grow and not die. Through the use of scientific inquiry, the team made a buffer solution and added it to a sample of imitation acid rain. The 2 solutions were added to healthy plants and observed over several days. The plants that had only acid rain wilted and stopped growing. The plants with the buffer added to the acid rain continued to grow and were healthy. And now from the West region, We Matter from Hyde Park Middle School Academy of Science and Mathematics in Las Vegas, Nevada, led by team advisor Judith Krause, and made up of students Candace Ho, Glennie Wu, Zoe Laxon, and Julianne Warren. We Matter aimed at developing a portable, clean water filter to decrease the world's contamination crisis. They created a water filter that would help clean water impurities by using a precise measurement in their framework for stability and prevent impurities or particles from falling into the water. Congratulations to all of our 6th grade teams. Now it's time to recognize our 7th grade national finalist teams. First, representing the North Central region, the 4 Musketeers from Kings Junior High School in Kings Mills, Ohio, led by team advisor Vonda Fruworth, and made up of students Michael Worthington, Natalie DeVage, Claudia Ragsdale, and Addison Bays. The 4 Musketeers constructed a weighted, multi-monofilament gill net called the Ghostbuster to help put an end to the global problem of ocean ghost nets using biodegradable materials. After a 28-day biodegradability test, the collected data indicated that the prototype gill net floated properly, but due to the short time, had not shown signs of biodegradation. From the Northeast region, it's the Marvelous Mosquito Marauders from Stonehill Middle School in Ashburn, Virginia. They're led by team advisor Heather Jackson and made up of students AJ Penagunda, Sambit Rao, Avni Garg, and Amulya Gadapati. The marvelous mosquito marauders created a crowdsourced app that will help combat the delay in disease reporting by health services to city authorities. The app will help city authorities easily locate sources of standing water where mosquitoes are breeding, along with a real-time reporting tool for local physicians to report clusters of patients who have mosquito-borne diseases to the city authorities using geolocation. From the South Central region, Code Red from Southcrest Christian School in Lubbock, Texas, led by team advisor Melanie DeFarius and made up of students Alexa Tyndall, Josiah Morales, and Ethan Jajati. Code Red is determined to find ways to lower the risk of firefighters receiving a positive cancer diagnosis. Several tests took place in order to find a proper solution. Results showed dangerous elements on the gear of firefighters, in water exposed to smoke, and in rinse water collected between wash cycles of bunker gear. Gross decontamination on site with water only was found to have some effect on reducing exposure, but washing gear multiple times instead of once greatly reduced the level of contaminants. Now, from the Southeast region, Thermo Kitchen Hawks from Charlotte Latin School in Charlotte, North Carolina, led by team advisor Barbara Morrow, and made up of students Virginia Foster, Jenna Hustis, Maya Belton, and Daria Strachan. The Thermo Kitchen Hawks project aimed to assist northern Ugandan women extracting deadly carbon monoxide fumes from their huts due to cooking fires. The team started the project by first researching relevant topics such as exhaust ventilation systems, thermoelectric generators, circuitry, and Ugandan huts, and then they proceeded to build prototypes following the engineering design process. Their design uses heat from the cooking fire to generate electricity to power a fan to extract carbon monoxide fumes. From the West region, Lost and Found from Stoller Middle School, Robo Rink in Portland, Oregon, led by team advisor Ananth Sankranarayanan, and made up of students Shreyas Ananth, Kapil Kakokar, Risheb Madhusudan, and Tishwani Datla. Lost and Found set out to reimagine the search and rescue operation by creating a cost-effective, self-charging, location monitoring footwear insole device. Using piezoelectric pads, they converted the mechanical energy from motion to electrical energy to power their location monitoring device, which connects wirelessly to parents' or guardians' phones. They tested their prototype functionality in their neighborhood and received positive feedback from industry experts on production viability. Congratulations to all of our 7th grade teams. Now it's time to recognize the 8th grade national finalist teams. First up, from the North Central region, Plast Assassins, a community-led team from Naperville, Illinois, led by team advisor Srimani Chakravarti, and made up of students Mira Dulor, Anna Maria Ularo, Pramiti Kandalai, and Ariana Parekh. Plast Assassin's focus is to create a sustainable compost bin that can degrade low-density plastic bags in households by using only bioorganisms. They collected information on various organisms that degrade plastic and determined the best ones to use are mealworms and waxworms. Through research and testing, they concluded that their product is a cheap, feasible method of degrading plastic that will benefit the environment, help reduce plastic waste, and make an impact in their community. Representing the Northeast region, it's Aquatech from Rocky Run Middle School in Chantilly, Virginia, led by team advisor Hema Lanka, and made up of students Sayanya Gadwala, Rami Ladia, Anish Paspuleti, and Adwait Gajulapati. Aquatech plans to reduce water usage by designing a device that alerts the user to leave the shower after a certain amount of water is used. They developed a device that was environmentally friendly, cost-effective, hydroelectricity powered, and with cutting-edge IoT technology using Arduino IDE. The device measures the volume of water generated using magnets and sensors that calculate the volume of water used through formulas involving the number of rotations from a paddle wheel inside a shower head. Not only does this device allow users to set a recommended threshold to receive an alert from a buzzer, but it also stores and displays information in an accompanying application where data is constantly updated. From the South Central region, we've got Carbon Sync from Taos Tyger Lab in Taos, New Mexico, led by team advisor Laura Tenorio, and made up of students Ariana Maestas, Ilana Weisfeld, and Benjamin Freshley. Carbon Sync's focus to determine if polymers and biopolymers, carbon chains themselves, can continue to increase their carbon bonding to keep carbon emissions out of the atmosphere and sink them into the soil. By producing small terrarium chambers using potting soil and the individual polymers, the carbon sequestration was tested by placing dry ice on top of the soil, then sealing over the top of the dry ice with the polymers. It was determined that the cornstarch polymer, followed by polyvinyl acetate, polystyrene, sodium polyacrylate, and finally guar gum with cytosine, did sequester carbon emissions. The cornstarch polymer sequestered it for the longest period of time and did not break down where others did. Representing the Southeast region, West Tech from Greenbrier Middle School in Evans, Georgia, led by team advisor David Phillips, and made up of students Leland Green, Samuel Weinstein, Kendall Schneller, and Jordan Epstein. The concept created by West Tech is a self-sustaining home. West Tech used wiring and Arduino and other electronics to control the water pumps, solar panel, and lights. West Tech used rainwater, groundwater, a solar panel as a secondary source, and a filter to generate electricity and clean drinking water for their home. The solution creates a viable and low-cost solution in the form of a self-sustaining home for impoverished areas to gain access to electricity and clean drinking water, which are considered human necessities. From the West region, we have Fueling Change, a community-led team from Stansbury Park, Utah, led by team advisor Laura Gibbons, and made up of students Gavin Murdoch, Anna Van Morlehem, Sarah Gibbons, and Caitlin Gibbons. Fueling Change focuses on the problem with global warming. They experimented with using Eurasian milfoil, an invasive lakeweed, as a biomass source to make a biofuel which contributes to solving the larger scale problems of global warming and Utah's inversion. They effectively tested their hypothesis where they experimented with the optimal conditions for maximizing ethanol levels produced by the lakeweed through fermentation. They leveraged engineering in the development of their distillery and technology for outreach through their design and creation of their lakeweed game and website, as well as in creation and publication of their book. Congratulations to the 8th grade national finalist teams. Before we go on to the 9th grade teams, I just want to point out how many scientific terms I had to look up how to pronounce. It's been fantastic. Let's go on and talk about our 9th grade national finalist teams and start off with the North Central region, the Psychologic-Owls, a community-led team from Lisle, Illinois, led by team advisor Ramu Ramachandran and made up of students Shruti Kotlo, Divya Litter, and Anjana Ramachandran. Psychologic-Owls aim to identify a solution to combat depression in our society by creating a cost-effective app. They explored the correlation between vocal acoustic features and depression and found that phonic patterns can be indicative of a disorder like depression. Their solution includes both a Python-based machine learning program and a statistical model which analyzes extracted acoustic data from voice samples and attempts to classify each voice as depressed or non-depressed. Representing the Northeast region, the Golden Spice from Palm Tree School in Fairfax, Virginia, led by team advisor Lubna Elhalu, and made up of students Tufrik Kurban, Zohal Stanikzai, Jonna Radwan, and Amina Khan. The Golden Spice aims to reduce schistosomiasis, there's one of those words, a parasitic disease caused by blood flukes and carried in freshwater snails, as there is only one drug to treat the disease. They treated NMRI snails with curcumin, an antioxidant, before exposing them to heat shock at 32 degrees centigrade for 2 hours. They tested for HSP70 protein expression to determine the effects of this compound on snail susceptibility to Schistosoma mansoni. In conclusion, curcumin would decrease the expression of HSP70 in heat-shocked snails, making them more resistant to parasite infection. From the South Central region, It's the Brains Guardians from Taos Tiger Lab in Taos, New Mexico, led by team advisor Laura Tenorio, and made up of students River Fox, Kaylee Kelly, and Daniel Pacheco. Kylie Kelly. The Brains Guardians aim to design a helmet that will reduce the impact of head and neck injuries. First, the helmet design was tested for stop impact and inertia impact, along with the design of a multifunction helmet that protects head and neck. Second, different materials were tested with the designs to determine impact resistance. Using a 3D printer at 10% scale to develop a prototype, they tested their prototype via a height drop with an egg strapped in, and they determined brake strength in a hydraulic press. The new design with both cranial and cervical protection was more efficient than the standard football helmet, hockey helmet, and motorcycle helmet designs, and was particularly effective in both inertia and standard protection. From the Southeast region, JAM, from Bob Jones High School in Madison, Alabama, led by team advisor Balabaskar Probakar Pandian, and made up of students Joshua Chen, Ashwin Probakar, Alexander Stern, and Matthew Stern. JAM aimed to develop a pH sensor using hydrogels and pH indicators extracted from natural resources. An automated process was developed to make a hydrogel-based pH sensor, and an imaging-based methodology was developed for pH measurement using color spectrum analysis. An Arduino-based sensor was integrated for display of results. The development imaging process and Arduino sensors were able to demonstrate successful measurement of pH for different samples. Working together with local communities, this biodegradable pH sensor will provide a new era for design and development of natural component-based methods. Representing the West region, Kalupate from Paradise Valley High School in Phoenix, Arizona, led by team advisor Michelle Cannon, and made up of students Nathan Nugibauer, Cooper Weissman, and Colin Snyder. Kalupate aims to help people get out of bed easier by using an electric blanket on a time-regulated system. They tested to see if the blanket would heat up at the proper time that they programmed. They tried heating up the blanket 30 times to see if it worked, and it did. They also tried the blanket on 3 of themselves using the same method, heating up the blanket multiple times, and it worked. The blanket could possibly help people get out of bed with further research. Congratulations to all of our 2020 national finalist teams. Your hard work and dedication has paid off. Next up, we'd like to recognize our STEM in Action grant recipients. The U.S. Army Educational Outreach Program STEM in Action grant awards e-cybermission teams up to $5,000 to develop their projects into mature and scalable solutions in their community. Out of 59 eligible teams, this year's award winners demonstrated incredible potential to create positive impacts in their communities, and we're excited to see what they do next. This year, 10 teams were selected to be recipients of this prestigious grant. 4 of the STEM in Action grant recipients are regional finalists who were awarded the grant and joined us for NJNEE this past week. They are, from the North Central region, No Vape Possible, a 6th grade team from Granger Middle School in Aurora, Illinois, led by Bhavna Sharma, and made up of students Samil Sharma, Nidhi Sagaram, and Viraj Vyas. No Vape Possible aimed to inform their community about the dangers of vaping and the detrimental effects it can have on your health. They use surveys and presentations to educate their community on what vaping is and the ill effects it can cause. In the first survey, they designated questions to gauge the understanding of vaping among students. The second survey focused on what people in the community learned and the choices that they would make in the future. Their conclusion suggested that their project was successful. Next up, representing the North Central region, CO2, 7th graders from Liberty Middle School in West Fargo, North Dakota, led by team advisor Holly Erickson, and made up of students Emma Briggs, Sullivan Irie, Caitlin Hafis, and Alexa Kaloran. Sorry guys, I'm saying so many names, they're all starting to blend together. CO2 plans to remove phosphates and agricultural runoff by creating a biochar iron nanoparticle water filtration system. CO2 will partner with not only lead researchers at North Dakota State University, but business professionals at the Emerging Prairies Grant Farm to implement their solution. Their main goal is to have their water filtration systems placed in fields across the state to test their effectiveness and hopefully help contribute to a solution for removing phosphates from agricultural runoff. Representing the Southeast region, Charger Plastics, 8th graders from Providence Day School in Charlotte, North Carolina, led by team advisor Mark Bartholet, and made up of students Jody Yan, Catherine Liu, Morgan Boonshaft, and Pavan Thacker. Charger Plastics developed a non-expensive, easily implemented, and environmentally friendly solution for cleaning plastics found in big bodies of water such as oceans, lakes, and rivers before it gets to a recycling plant. They researched the tested various mixtures and found a mixture of vinegar and baking soda effectively cleaned dirty plastic bottles. Their dirty plastic was placed into a shredder and then put into a container with a mixture of vinegar and baking soda to produce clean plastic for recycling. Last but certainly not least, representing the Southeast region, Fight the Fomites, 9th graders from Miami Beach Senior High School in Miami Beach, Florida, led by team advisor Carol Karp, and made up of students Noah Cohen, Harrison Delisle, and Leo Oliveira. Fight the Fomites aim to identify the prevalence and diversity of the microbiome on the Miami Metro Rail and possible organisms which might pose a health risk to passengers. They tested common touch surfaces, which included the escalator and stair handrails, elevator buttons, ticket dispensers, benches, seat backs, grab poles, hand straps, seats, and train floors. They swabbed each surface and grew the samples on various agar plates. After incubation, the bacteria were counted and identified. Almost all touch surfaces tested had hazardous gram-negative organisms, which were gut bacteria like E. coli, Calavera, and Enterobacter species, along with other gram-positive bacteria that can make people ill. They want to make passengers aware of the possible pathogenic bacterial exposure while riding the Miami Metro Rail. Now, our other 6 teams were also national finalists. They are in 6th grade, Jans from Ashburn, Virginia. In 7th grade, the Marvelous Mosquito Marauders, also from Ashburn, Virginia. And Lost and Found from Portland, Oregon. In 8th grade, Aquatech from Chantilly, Virginia. And in 9th grade, Psychologicals from Lisle, Illinois. And Colupate from Phoenix, Arizona. Let's give a big round of applause to all of our STEM in Action grant winners. A nice, big, silent round of applause. I can see you. You're all on camera. A round of applause. There you go. Some of you are doing it. Okay, most of you, some of you not. That's fine. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the highlight of this afternoon. The moment that I'm sure all the students and team advisors have anxiously been waiting for. It's time to present the 2020 national winning teams. Are you as excited as I am? Let me take a moment to just go on? Okay. Each of the members of the eCyber Mission National Winning Teams will receive an additional $6,000 in U.S. savings bonds, bringing their total winnings this year to $10,000. Oh, and by the way, if you're a team advisor for the winning team, one of the winning teams, you're going to be invited to the 2021 NSTA conference next April in Chicago, all expenses paid. So now the TA's ears are pricking up too. All right, here we go. Our 6th grade national winning team. The 6th grade national winning team had many comments from the judges during their deliberations. These included the following. The judges noted the project was highly impactful to the community and was important to clean the atmosphere. They noticed that each student took a role and had personal responsibilities that showed interconnectivity in their collaboration. One judge commented that this was a true STEM project with competencies in each area. The judges were very impressed that the team reached out to 16 countries to do education. Very expansive and in other languages. Very cool that they got embassies to do the translations. So, the 6th grade national winning team is From the South Central Region, Carbon Keepers, led by team advisor Laura Wilbanks and made up of students Felipe DeFarius, Briley Siemens, and Eliza Cole-Smith. Congratulations, Carbon Keepers. Let's get a big old round of applause for them. A silent one, but still a big round of applause. Way to go, Carbon Keepers. Good job. Good job. All right. Let's move on to our 7th grade national winning team. The 7th grade national winning team's presentation had an excellent beginning and ending, according to the judges. The judges noticed that the team used many resources and did a lot of research and were impressed how they communicated with many people. The judges stated the solution was innovative and impressive. The students knew that they could not make their solution, but researched resources and came up with the idea of finding grants as a good way to solve the stated problem. The judges thought that it was great that there was a vested interest in the outcome and that there was a strong personal connection to the problem. The 7th grade national winning team is from the South Central Region, Code Red, led by team advisor Mulaney DeFarius and made up of students Alexa Tyndall, Josiah Morales, and Ethan Jajadi. Congratulations, Code Red. Way to go, 7th graders. A big round of applause for them, everybody. There you go. Show them the love. Show them the love. Well done. South Central Region doing the good work so far. Let's move in to 8th grade. Judges made the following comments for the 8th grade winning team. The project was STEM directed across the board in all disciplines. The judges noticed that the team members did research on competing products before they began their design. The judges were impressed with a quote that one of the students made during the judging time. You can do anything that you put your mind to. The judges also found it amazing that the students programmed their app with C language, an accomplishment in its own to learn a new programming language. The team had a complete solution for implementation that was based on a lot of research and talking to a lot of experts. Very professional. The 8th grade national winning team is from Rocky Run Middle School, Chantilly, Virginia. It's Aquatech, led by team advisor Hema Lanka and made up of students Saranya Gadwala, Rami Ladia, Anish Paspuleti, and Adwait Gajalapali. Gosh, Adwait, excuse me for that. Congratulations, Aquatech. Well done. Well done. A round of applause, of course. Yes, yes, yes. I hope you are all already doing that. See, I saw so many people doing it, I figured. All right, last, but certainly not least, our final award of the show, 9th grade national winning team. The judges commented that this team had a unique approach to a universal issue that used a multi-prong approach, which was very novel. The team acted like scientists with the scientific practices they used throughout the project. They understood that they were going, where they were going, and were able to answer all of the questions asked by the judges. They used statistical analysis, included a t-test, and applied it correctly and understood what it meant. The judges recommended this team apply for a patent. Ladies and gentlemen, the 9th grade national winning team is the community-led team from Lisle, Illinois, Psychologicals, led by team advisor Ramu Ramachandran and made up of students Shruti Kotlo, Divya Litter, and Anjana Ramachandran. Congratulations, Psychologicals. A round of applause for them. Well done. Well done. How about a round of applause for all of our 2020 East Cyber Mission national winners? Yay. Congratulations, everybody. Congratulations. This is fantastic. Oh, I'm winded. I need to take a sip. My goodness. This is, what's that? What? Sorry, I'm not wearing an earpiece, but this is breaking news, everyone. I've just been told that due to the unusual nature of having to go virtual with NJ and EE this year, that we'd like to invite all who qualified for NJ and EE this year to join us at NJ and EE in 2021. This includes our Team Advisor of the Year. Yes, we're bringing you all to the live event next year. Every single one of you, all of the TAs, all the teams, you're going to come hang out with us. Are you excited? Come on, let's see some applause in there. Yeah. We know it's been a little different this year. We wanted to give all the students and team advisors here the opportunity to see what being at NJNEE is really like live and in person. You'll be getting more information about this in the coming weeks, so stay tuned, and we can't wait to see each and every one of you. Team advisors, please watch that information about this. You get an entire packet in the month of July. Oh my. Oh, yikes. Goodness gracious. Well, this is pretty exciting. And to close out today's program, we'd like to continue the tradition of ending our award ceremony with the Army song. Now, normally our NCOs, our non-commissioned officers, would get up on stage and sing for us. But since we cannot be together, we have the lyrics here for you to sing along at home. Thank you so much for another great eCyber Mission National Judging and Educational event, and we look forward to seeing you all next year.